Manifesting is not magic. Almost everyone teaching it online is teaching you the marketing. You've seen the videos, vision boards, affirmations in the mirror. Just raise your vibration. Say the right words enough times, and the universe hands you the car, the money, the relationship. It sounds good. It sells courses. It grabs clicks. And it leaves millions of people repeating the same affirmations for years while their life stays exactly the same. I'm going to tell you why that version fails, and I'm going to walk you through the version that actually works because I've lived both. I spent years stuck in the surface level approach before I understood what was really running the show underneath it. By the end of this video, you'll understand the real factors behind manifesting, why your beliefs are running your entire life, and why the emotions you've been avoiding are the exact thing standing between you and the reality you say you want. Let's start with why the popular version fails so many people. Manifesting sells because it promises a shortcut. Think positive thoughts, visualize the outcome, and the universe rearranges itself around your wishes. People are drawn to that because most of us are looking for the fastest path to relief. We want the result without doing the work that produces the result. That's not a character flaw, it's conditioning. We live in a culture that trains you to look outward for authority and to trust whoever sounds confident enough. So when someone with a big following says, just think positive and it's yours, people believe it because believing it is easier than examining it. Here's the problem. Thinking positive thoughts on top of unresolved beliefs is like painting over rust. It looks fine for a minute, then the rust comes back through again because you never dealt with what was underneath. The law of attraction, as it gets taught by most influencers, reduces your entire inner world down to a simple either or. Positive thought, good outcome. Negative thought, bad outcome. That framing does real damage. It teaches you to police every thought that crosses your mind. And the moment a negative one shows up, you panic and try to force a positive one on top of it. That's an internal war you fight every single day, and it teaches you to feel shame for having a normal human thought, which only adds another layer of suppression to whatever you are already avoiding. That thinking also skips the three things that actually determine your results: your beliefs, your emotions, and your actions. You can repeat, I'm wealthy, into a mirror every morning for a year. And if your core belief is that money is hard to get, or that you don't deserve it, or that wanting more makes you greedy, that belief will win every time. Affirmations without doing any work on your beliefs are words bouncing off armor. I fell into this exact trap when I first got into manifesting. I said the words, I did the visualization. I felt good for about 20 minutes, but when my old patterns took over again, because I hadn't addressed the foundation they were built on, that's when I realized the popular version of manifesting is incomplete. It hands you one tool and calls it the whole toolbox. Everyone can manifest. That part is true, but the process requires more depth than think it and it's yours. It requires you to look at what you actually believe, what you're actually feeling, and what you're actually doing day after day. Some people manifest what they want without much effort. Other people struggle for years chasing the same goal. The difference usually comes down to belief. Your belief is the law you live under. When you believe something at your core, you create rules for your own reality that match that belief, whether you're aware of it or not. Believe money is scarce, and you'll unconsciously act, decide, and interpret events in the same ways that keep money scarce. Believe you're the kind of person things work out for, and you'll notice opportunities, take risks, and recover from setbacks in a completely different way. Same world, different rulebook, because the belief writes the rules. This is why two people can hold opposite beliefs and both get results that confirm what they believe. Someone who believes God controls every outcome and their job is to accept whatever comes, will live inside that belief and experience a life that reflects it. Someone who believes they were given the ability to create their own reality will live inside that belief and experience a very different life. Neither person is wrong. Each belief guarantees its own version of reality. The danger isn't believing the wrong thing. It's holding beliefs that contradict each other, because conflicting beliefs cancel each other out and leave you stuck. You don't need to subscribe to any particular spiritual framework for this to work. What matters is the strength and clarity of the belief you actually hold, not the belief someone else is trying to sell you. A strong, clear personal belief will override a weak, borrowed one every time. So how do we deal with beliefs that are working against you? 2 steps. First, get honest about what you actually believe. Most limiting beliefs operate under the surface. You don't walk around consciously thinking, I don't deserve success. It shows up as hesitation, as self-sabotage right before a breakthrough, as a pattern of stopping yourself one step from the goal. Awareness is the first move. You can't change what you refuse to see. Start noticing the story that plays in your head when you go after something you want. That story is the belief talking. Second, question it. Don't accept a belief just because you've had it for 20 years or because everyone around you shares it. Ask where it came from. Ask if it's even true. Ask who benefits from you continuing to believe it. That process is uncomfortable because you're pulling on threads that have been holding your identity together for a long time. Do it anyway. Every belief you are willing to question is a belief that loses its grip on you. Now here's the part that most manifesting content skips completely, and it's the part that matters most. Your emotions are not separate from your results. Your emotions are the frequency you're broadcasting on, and that frequency is what dictates what shows up in your life. Higher, lighter emotional states make manifestation move faster. Heavier states like resentment, fear, and hopelessness create resistance and slow everything down or attract more of the same. That part isn't controversial. What's controversial is what the mainstream teaches you to do about it. The popular advice is to override negative emotions with positive thinking. Feel bad, slap an affirmation on top of it, move on. That approach doesn't heal anything. It buries it. And buried emotion doesn't disappear. It shows up later as a pattern you can't explain, a relationship that keeps repeating the same conflict, a body that keeps breaking down in the same place, a life that keeps handing you the same lesson in a different costume. Labeling emotions as negative is a part of the problem. Calling an emotion negative tells your nervous system to treat it as a threat, to eliminate instead of a message to receive. Every emotion you feel, including the ones that are uncomfortable, is giving you information. Anger tells you a boundary got crossed. Sadness tells you something mattered and you lost it. Fear tells you something needs your attention before you move forward. These emotions aren't your enemy. They're the guidance system you were born with. Yet most of us were taught to stop trusting it before we turn 10. When you avoid an emotion instead of feeling it, you don't get rid of it. You just guarantee it comes back around, usually through a repeating circumstance that mirrors exactly what you refuse to look at. That coworker who keeps triggering you. That relationship pattern you swore you'd never repeat, showing up again with a different name attached. That financial ceiling you keep hitting no matter how hard you work. These aren't random. They're your own avoided emotions, looping back until you finally deal with them. Here's what actually works instead. When an emotion comes up, let yourself feel it without judging it and without acting it out. Don't suppress anger by swallowing it, and don't unleash it on whoever's nearby either. Sit with it, observe it, let it move through your body the way it's designed to. This takes patience because most of us have spent years running from discomfort the second it shows up. But emotions that are fully felt lose their grip. They're not built to last forever. They're built to move through you and finish their cycle. It's the resistance to feeling them that gets them stuck. When you finally start processing the emotions you've been avoiding, you will notice something happen in your outer life. The situations that used to keep repeating start to dissolve. The people who kept triggering the same wound start to exit your life on their own. Ideas and opportunities that match where you're actually at start showing up because you're no longer spending your energy holding a wall up against your own feelings. That energy becomes available for something else. This is what happens when you start processing what's underneath it. Healing these emotions is not wasted time. It feels like the opposite of productive because our culture measures productivity by output, not by depth. But the years you spend addressing what you've suppressed will save you decades of repeating the same circumstances on a loop. You're not losing time, you're buying it back. Thought and visualization matter, but they're the spark, not the engine. Thinking clearly about what you want gives your intention direction. Without a clear thought, your energy has nowhere specific to go. Visualization adds detail to that thought, turning a vague wish into something your mind can actually work with. When you picture something in specific, vivid detail, you're giving your nervous system a target. The more precise the target, the more precise the result. This is where most people stop, because this is the fun part. Picture the goal, feel good about it, done. But thought and visualization without addressing belief and emotion is like drawing a map to a destination you've secretly decided you're not allowed to reach. The map is accurate. You still won't arrive because something underneath is steering you off course every time you get close. Use visualization as the starting point, not the whole process. Get clear on what you want. See it in detail. Then do the deeper work of checking whether your beliefs support that vision and whether there's emotion underneath it you haven't addressed yet. Attention is energy. Spend it like it matters. Your attention is a limited resource, and where you put it determines what grows in your life. Passion accelerates results because passion naturally pulls your focus towards something without you having to force it. When you're genuinely excited about a goal, you follow through without needing willpower to drag you there. That consistency compounds. The stronger the passion, the faster things tend to move because your attention keeps returning to it on its own. This is also why a specific goal tends to manifest faster than a vague one. Wanting a specific car is a single, sharp point of focus. Wanting a luxurious life is 100 vague points of focus fighting for the same limited attention. Both are achievable. The specific one moves faster because your energy isn't split. Outside of your goals, most of your attention gets consumed by obligations you didn't choose and by distractions you did. Be honest about how much of your day goes to scrolling, worrying about things you can't control, or thinking about conversations that already ended. That's attention you're never getting back, spent on nothing. Redirecting even a portion of that toward what you actually want to build changes the trajectory of your life faster than people expect. Let me walk you through something specific I manifested, because the details matter here. I had a clear image of a car I wanted, not just a nice car, a specific white BMW, two-door coupe, 6-speed manual, red leather interior, 19-inch, 5-star rims. I'd manifested things before, but this one felt different because of how precise the image was. I looked for the exact car locally and found nothing close. Plenty of coupes, none with that specific combination. So I kept visualizing it while I drove around in my current car, picturing myself behind the wheel of the one I wanted. A few days later, I went back online, and there it was, that exact car, same color, same transmission, same interior, same rims. Less than 2 weeks from the moment I started visualizing to the moment it became real. What made that work wasn't luck. I had a specific thought and a specific image. I believed I could manifest it because I've done it before. I was genuinely excited about it, which kept my attention locked in without effort. And I wasn't carrying resistance or doubt underneath the wish because I had already done enough of the belief and emotional work by that point that the vision didn't have anything blocking it. All 4 factors were working together at the same time. That's the difference between a wish that goes nowhere and a wish that becomes real. Whether you're aware of it or not, your emotions and your beliefs are creating the situations you keep living through. That can feel disappointing if you've been blaming outside circumstances for a long time. It can also be the most useful thing you ever hear because it means you're not powerless. If your inner state is generating your outer reality, then changing your inner state changes what you generate. Stop trying to force your mind into positivity while ignoring what's actually going on underneath. Get honest about your beliefs. Question the ones that don't serve you. Feel the emotions you've been avoiding instead of talking over them with affirmations. Get specific with your thoughts and visualization once the ground underneath them is solid. Spend your attention on what you're actually passionate about instead of what's demanding it by default. This isn't a quick fix, and I'm not going to pretend it is, because that's the exact lie that keeps people stuck in the surface level version of this work for years. Doing this properly takes time, but it's time that gets returned to you many times over, because you stop repeating the same painful loop year after year and start building a life that actually reflects where you're headed instead of where you've been stuck. You don't need permission from any guru, any influencer, or any official version of the law of attraction to start this work. You need honesty with yourself and the willingness to look at what you've been avoiding. That's it. That's the whole requirement. If this resonated with you, stay around, because this channel is built entirely around this work, breaking patterns, taking accountability, and understanding what's actually running your life underneath the surface.